Now with the recent East Coast windstorm, I decided I better make sure all my kerosene lamps were ready to go. So this one was one we had on the wall, and we hadn't used it for maybe 2-3 years. Notice the level of fuel in there. There's practically nothing. It's all evaporated. I was wondering what happened to it. Then it dawned on me I was using Klean Heat, and apparently Klean Heat tends to evaporate way faster than kerosene. If there had been kerosene in here, it would have lasted for decades. It may have turned yellow because of the glass if any light got to it, but it would still be burnable. So Klean Heat does not seem to work well when you just fill these up and hang on the wall and have them ready to go the next time you think the power is going to go out. So I think what we're going to have to do, I'm going to refuel it with Klean Heat, fire it up, you can take a look at it, then I'm going to drain it, put kerosene in, and we'll see what the difference is. It should be a little bit less bright, but the kerosene will last for a long time. So at this point in time, I've got the Klean Heat to right about there. So I'm going to light it, and we'll see what the burn looks like, and then we'll compare it to kerosene. Okay, now we'll just let that warm up. Alright, we've got it running, and I can see the chimney's a little dirty, but it's been sitting on the wall for quite a while. So it's warmed up, we can bring it up. To about there. So that's about what you're going to get with Klean Heat. That's not a bad light. It's a number 2 Eagle. As you know, all I run is Plume and Atwood Eagles. So that's running pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is shut it down, drain that out, that Klean Heat out. I'll put the kerosene in, and we'll see how the transition is going from Klean Heat to kerosene. Okay, as you can see, the Klean Heat is out. It is still in the wick. And we're going to put kerosene in. Okay, so that's up to the level that the Klean Heat was. So now we'll fire this thing back up again and see how the transition works. There we go. Get an oven glove because that chimney is hot. Bring that up. Kill the lights. just let that run a bit and see if there's any transition going from Klean Heat to kerosene. I would assume it's going to be pretty seamless, because going from kerosene to Klean Heat, I never saw a problem. In fact, I didn't realize the Klean Heat was so volatile that it would evaporate. So I'm not sure how long this is going to take. We may have to speed this up and run it through. I'm not sure just how long it's going to go. I'm sure you just don't want to sit there and watch that flame. Although I find it really nice. Then again, I'm the weird guy making the kerosene videos, and you people are the weird people watching me make the kerosene videos. So far I haven't seen much in the way of difference. I know that if I try to get the maximum amount of light, I am going to get some smoking. I guess while we're waiting here, I can put in a couple of insets where I changed over my Dietz lantern from Klean Heat to kerosene, because I'd noticed the Klean Heat is so volatile that if you are using that lamp or lantern at night, that if it does manage to blow out, and it blows out a lot easier with Klean Heat, you cannot restart it. That the wick and the air dome is so hot, you cannot get it relit. So I had to switch back over to kerosene. But of course, as you can see in this inset, it gets the globe dirty because of the soot. As you're carrying it in the wind, it flickers and you get a little bit of smoke, so you have to clean the chimney on it. Now I would have to say, I don't think there's a almost imperceptible amount of the flame is not quite as high as it was. It seems to be just a bit lower, because of course the kerosene is thicker and it's not as volatile, so it's not going to burn as well. I'm thinking probably the only thing I'm going to use the Klean Heat for in the future is just the center drafts, because the center drafts run so much better on Klean Heat or mineral spirits than kerosene. I don't know whether I probably shouldn't mess with it. I should just leave it and let it run just a bit longer. I know that some people find the smell of the Klean Heat objectionable. Of course, some people find the smell of kerosene objectionable. Myself, I prefer the kerosene over the Klean Heat, but I wanted the extra light. I would think by now it ought to be sucking pure kerosene. I really thought that there was going to be more of a difference, you know? Because I'm seeing this real time just like you are. And of course, the Klean Heat being at $10 to $12 a gallon, it is way more expensive than any of the kerosene, even the refined kerosenes. I really want to turn that up a little bit, but it seems to me that it's down just a little bit. I may have to do an inset and put the two side by side just to see, but it seems to me that it's down maybe 10-15%. But that's a good solid #2 burner flame. It really is. You can't ask much more. I've only got one one number 2 that is a little bit better. So I would say that it is down some. I'm just going to say that, yeah, it's perceptibly down, but only because we looked at it from before. However, kerosene isn't bad, and like I said, everybody used kerosene for 100 and some years before Klean Heat came out, so I think we may be trying to reinvent the wheel. So anyway, that's what I found out, that if you're not going to run the lamps much, and they're just for emergencies, I'd stay away from Klean Heat. If you're going to use the lamps a lot, and you can afford the Klean Heat, or maybe mix it 50-50, whatever, for a flat wick lamp, I would say stick with kerosene. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you remember just a minute ago, I talked about my favorite lamp. This is a number 2, and I hope you can read it. It says Sokini. Okay, you should be able to read it now. So Sokini is Standard Oil Company of New York. They made their own burner, or had somebody make it. And if you notice the flame, it is the absolute best number 2 flame that I've ever seen. It is easily 25% bigger than a normal number 2, and that is running on kerosene. Now if I back it off here a bit, you'll see that it's on a 8-inch chimney. Now, one thing I should have probably mentioned, with the Klean Heat, they tend to work best with 10-inch chimneys. So if you're converting from Klean Heat to kerosene, you may find that the chimney is overdriving the suction of the kerosene, the capillary action, up to the burner, and you may see the burner dropping down, and you turn up the wick and it drops down because it's burning faster than it can suck up the kerosene. So going back to an 8-inch chimney, that eliminates the problem. But anyway, that is my favorite lamp, and I was lucky enough to get the entire, there it is right there. They don't always stay together, but this is it's pressed, heavy pressed glass, and it's my favorite lamp. It puts out the most light. It's the easiest to deal with. So anyway, that's just my favorite lamp on kerosene. If you're going to use a lamp fairly regular and you can afford it, Klean Heat is probably the way to go if you don't mind the smell. There is definitely like a 15% or more increase in light. However, if they're going to hang on the wall for that time that the power goes out, you can't beat good old clear kerosene. Don't use that pink stuff.